class we will see the following point. This,
Sir, you have to bold it, sir.
it's small. Hello cadet, you are having the textbook, please go through with the textbook, right? Some technical issues are there, that's why I am presenting like this.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so in this class first we are going to see about the topic number formal sectors credit in India. And don't worry cadet, this same presentation I had recorded and it is available on YouTube also. If some doubt and difficulty is there, you can go and you can watch there also. First, quickly we will summarize the points here. Formal sectors
Can
of
we
credit
especially
in India.
focus on that first slide, sir?
Yeah, beta. Please have attention.
Your whole laptop is visible, sir. So can you especially focus on first slide, sir?
Sir,
We'll come to
make
it.
your screen full screen, sir.
Okay, beta.
Make
Sir,
it full
slideshow
screen.
option will be there, sir. Click on that, sir.
Now it's okay?
Sir, bottom, sir, right, sir.
Beta, F5 I pressed it, it's showing on my laptop full screen, but you are observing
Sir,
in a small
let's
version.
go to home insert and then.
Due to some technical issue, please consider that and continue with that, right? Point number 1 here.
Okay, sir.
Graph number 1, sources of credit per thousand of rural household in India 2012. So here in this pie chart, those who are having the textbook, please open the textbook, so it's going to be crystal clear to all of you. First, we have seen in the above examples that the people obtain loans from the various sources, and the various types of loan can be conventionally grouped as formal, informal. So here we are talking about formal, the government we are having, other non-institutional agency, and so cooperative banks and like that. So among the former, the loans from the banks and cooperative, the informal lenders, which are money lender, traders, employers, relatives and friends. Dear cadets, I will explain each and every concept in a detailed point, so there should not be a reading point because it's showing small in size. That's why I will read only and I will explain. So in this graph number 1, the sources of credit per thousand of rural household is visible to you all. In that, if you will see here, so the money lender is 33, commercial banks 25, landlord 1, other and institutional 5, cooperative banks 25, government 1, non-institutional agency 2%, and relatives and friends 8%. So here we are going to discuss about the formal and informal sectors of loan. Dear cadets, somebody is met with accident and suddenly they require a huge amount of money, 5 lakh, 10 lakh, to make the person to be alive or for the operation. So they will go to the money lender, otherwise from the friends and relative, to help the particular person. So in that way they are going in an informal one, because at the night, at the difficult situation, they can't go to the bank or to the government to have the formal sectors of loan, because they are having the procedure, some asset collateral they require as an surety. But the money lender will give you the money directly and take the asset according to their own way. First, in the graph number 1, you have already seen that the household, they are in the rural houses in India, is more credit coming from the formal sector or informal. So the RBI, point number 1 here, RBI, please, in the examination the full form can be asked of RBI. The functioning of formal sources of loan. The instant we have seen that the banks maintain a minimum cash balance out of the deposit they received. The RBI monitor the banks in actually maintaining the cash balance. So here RBI is playing a vital and important significant role to monitorize to all the activities of money in our India. Similarly, the RBI sees that the banks give loans not just to make the profit, not be having the profit oriented or business mind and the traders, but also to the small cultivators, small scale industry, to small borrower, etc. So periodically the bank have to submit the information of RBI that what the type of loan they are giving, which amount, what the interest they are collecting and so on. So how much they are lending to whom, at what interest rate, etc., etc. So there is no organization which supervises the credit activities of lender in the informal sectors. Dear cadet, as you had observed in the formal sector, the RBI is having the eagle eye on all the economic activity related to the banks and the loan and so on. But here in the informal sector, there is no such organization to supervise these all activities. So they can lend at whatever interest rate they choose. There is no one to stop them from using unfair means to get their money back. That means as an asset or the collateral whatever they were keeping, so they can use any means. Suppose I want to lend the 5 lakh rupees to Abhimanyu. So I can ask, you can have your bungalow as an asset to me. If you will not pay so and so amount, so I will take this particular collateral from you. So this all going to happen in informal sectors of loan. Compared to the formal lender, most of the informal lender charge a much higher rate on loan. Thus the cost of the borrower of informal loan is much higher. So here you are observing the risk is very, very higher. The people will suffer more in informal sector because the interest rate is going to be high, and whatever the collateral the person is going to ask who is lending you the money is going to be according to their way. Next, here you can observe, but why should a bank want us to have a higher income? So bank is asking for a higher income so that they can give the loan to them. If you don't have the higher income, you will not get the loan. That means the assurity to repay the loan, the collateral you should having, whether a land piece, livestock or so on. Next, higher cost of borrowing means a higher part of earning of the borrower is used to repay the loan. Hence the borrower have the less income left for themselves. As already you have seen for the case of the Shamal in Sonpur, which already I told you to read it and to understand. In certain cases, the high rate interest for borrowing can mean that the amount to be repaid is greater than the income of the borrower. This could lead to increased debt, as we had seen in the case of Rama in Sonpur, which make them the people to be trapped in the debit one. Also, people who might wish to start an enterprises or a business by the borrower or borrowing may not do because the high cost of borrowing. Next, Abhimanyu, can you continue it? Abhimanyu, my voice is audible to you?
Yes, sir. From where I should continue?
From here. For these reasons, banks and cooperative society need to lend more. Are you having the textbook?
Yes, sir.
Please continue, child. From the slide it is visible. Please continue. Due to some technical error, it's in a
Yes,
small
sir.
size.
Slide is visible, sir.
Please continue. Are you able to see the slides? For these reasons, banks and cooperative societies need to lend more.
No, sir.
Are you getting this?
Yes, sir. Yes, I got it.
Okay, please continue
Yes, sir.
reading, child.
Actually, slide is so small.
Please continue, child. After that, Abhiram will read.
For these regions, banks and cooperative societies need to lend more. This would lead to higher incomes, and many people could then borrow cheaply for a variety of needs. They could grow crops, do business, set up small scale industries, etc. They could set up new industries or trade in goods. Cheap and affordable credit is crucial for the country's development. Shall I
Very
continue,
good.
sir?
Very good. Stop here. Now, next, as Abhimanyu has read out this, I will explain you quickly. So, these would lead to the higher incomes, and many people could then borrow cheaply for a variety of needs. They could grow the crops, do business, or they can set up a small scale industry also. They could set up a new industry or a trade in goods. Cheap and affordable credit is going to be very crucial for the growth and development of our country. Next, Abhiram. Is Abhiram is there? Abhiram, please unmute yourself.
Yes, I have muted, sir.
Okay, beta. Please read the graph number 2.
Graph 2. Of all the loans taken by urban households, what percentage of formal and what percentage was informal?
Okay. Now, the blue and the purple color, the 2 points are here, right?
Yes, sir.
Everyone please observe the graph number 2, which is speaking that the loan taken by the urban household, what percentage was formal and what percentage was informal. You can see the rich household, well off household, household with few assets, and the poor household. And the two colors are mentioned here. It's going to be little bit confusing because both the colors are 1920. That means a small difference is there in the purple and the bluish one. But if you will see clearly in the textbook, you can got it. Everyone is getting or not? Is Sankalp is there?
Yes, sir.
Sankalp Kumbar,
Yes, sir.
please unmute yourself.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, now please tell me which is having the highest percent for the formal sector. Out of this 4 pie chart, which pie chart is conveying you message, the percentage of the loan from the formal sector is the highest one?
Rich household, sir.
Very good, because it's a 90%. So as you are observing in the purple portion that the percentage of the loan from the formal sector is the 90% for the rich household, right? Next, well off household, that's a 72%. Then household with the few asset, 47%. And the last poor household, they are having the 15%. Let's have an explanation to this graph. Formal and informal credit. Who gets what? So the graph 2, which can also be called as a pie chart, shows the importance of the formal and informal sources of credit for the people, those who are living in urban areas. And the people are divided into 4 groups, from poor to rich, as shown in the figure. You can see that the 85% of the loans taken by the poor household. Those who are having the textbook, please pay attention to the poor household where the 85% is illustrated. Poor household in the urban areas are from informal sources. Compare this with the rich urban household. What do you find? Is Ravitej is present in the meeting? Is Ravitej is present in the meeting? Okay. Next, Abhiram, please answer it. Abhiram, please answer it. Abhimanyu, my voice is audible to you?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So can you answer it?
Actually, when you asked at that time, can you ask once again?
Okay, we are going to understand only this point.
It is raining here, sir.
Now all of you please pay attention. We are talking about this formal and informal credit. Dear cadet, please observe it. This part. So here we are seeing this. The comparison between the poor household, those who are living in urban and those who are living in the rural one. Only 10% of their loans are from the informal sources, which makes the difference and make you understand to see the risk in the formal and informal sectors. While 90% from the formal sources. Next we are seeing the 90%, right? From the informal sources. Cadet, please have attention. Due to some technical error that was not coming, so please observe this. Are you able to see it? Cadet, please, are you able to see it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, very impressive. Due to some technical error, it is not coming. That's why I am showing you like this. So first we had started one. In that we had seen the formal sectors of credit in India. Right? We had seen the graph number 1. Graph number 1 is visible to you all?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this graph number 1, the sources of credit per rupees 1000 for rural household in India 2012. Those who are having the WhatsApp with them, please convey to others to join the class quickly once again. Please message them to join the class quickly. First, we have seen the formal and informal sources of credit. Abhiram, please continue this one. Abhiram, unmute yourself.
Yes, sir.
Please continue, child.
Formal and informal credits. Who gets what? Graph 2 shows the importance of formal and informal sources of credit for people in urban areas. The people are divided into 4 groups, from poor to rich as shown in the figure. You can see that 85% of the loans are taken by the poor households in the urban areas are from the informal sources. Compare this with the rich urban households. What do you find? Only 10% of their loans are from informal sources, while 90% are from formal sources. A similar pattern is also found in rural areas. The rich households are availing cheap credit from formal lenders, whereas the poor households have to pay a large amount for borrowing. What does all this suggest? First, the formal sector still meets only about half of the total credit needs of the rural people. The remaining credit needs to be met from informal sources.
Okay, very good. Now, as you are all observing from here, compare this with the rich urban household. What do you find? So, we are observing only the 10% of their loans are from the informal sources, and the rest, that the 90% are from the formal sources. For the richer we are talking about. A similar pattern is also we are seeing in the rural area. The rich household are having the availability of the cheap loan from the lenders. Next, what does all this suggest? Sankalp, please answer me. What does all these suggest? Is Sankalp is present? Okay, next. Prakash Wali, please unmute yourself. Next, Shanta Kumar, 10C. Unmute yourself, child.
Sir, what is
Shanta Kumar. Next, please answer it. What does all these suggest? Next, Abhimanyu Singh, please answer it. Okay.
Sir, may I
Bhavna,
know the question? So question once again.
who is speaking? I am not getting.
Sir, Mayur.
Okay, Mayur, this topic is there.
Sir, what?
The first point is about that. We had seen the comparison in the pie chart here. We had seen the pie chart, right? Here is the 85%, right? Which is this? Which color it is? Blue. That indicates informal sectors. But here if we are speaking about the rich household, this purple is talking about the formal sector, right? And the difference we are seeing here 10% only, but here 85%. Okay? So what does this suggest? The rich household are having the availability of the cheap credit from the formal lenders, where the poor household have to pay a large amount for borrowing. So what does this suggest? First, the formal sector still meets only about the half of the total credit needs to the rural people. The remaining credit need are met from the informal one. Most loan from informal lenders. Next, Mayur, please continue, child. Mayur, please read out. Mayur, please read out. Next, Tanmay, please read out, child. Unmute yourself and read.
Little to increase the income of borrowers. Thus, it's necessary that banks and cooperatives increase their lending, particularly in rural areas, so that the dependence on informal sources of credit reduces.
Very good. Now, we are observing here most the loans from informal lenders carry a very high rate of interest and do little to increase the income of the borrower. It simply means they are at very high risk and they will trapped in the debit trap. Thus, it is necessary the banks and cooperatives to increase their lending, particularly in the rural areas, so that the dependence on the informal sources of credit can be reduced. Next, secondly, continue. Pratmesh, please read out. Mayur, do you want to read it?
Yes, sir.
Please continue, child.
Secondly, while formal sector loans need to expand, it is also necessary that everyone receives these loans. At present, it is richer households who receive formal credit, whereas the poor have to depend on the informal sources. It is important that formal credit is distributed more equally so that poor can benefit from the cheaper loans.
Very nice. So here in the second part we are observing the formal sector loans need to expand. It is also necessary that everyone receive these loans. So at present it is the richer household who receive the formal credit, whereas the poor have to still depend on the informal. It is important that the formal credit is distributed more equally so that the poor can also be benefited by the cheaper loan. Cheaper loan means they will get the loan but at the cheap rate of interest. Secondly, let's work these out. You are having the 4 questions here. Question number 1 is speaking, what are the difference between the formal and informal sources of credit? Who want to answer it? Bhavna, are you there in meeting? Bhavna, are you present in meeting? Okay. Next. Shanta Kumar, are you able to hear my voice? Please unmute yourself and answer the first question. Next, Abhiram. Abhiram, please unmute yourself, child.
Yes, sir.
Please. Question number 1.
Sir, the question is what are the differences between formal and informal sources of credit, sir?
Okay.
So, in formal sources of credit, we have well-defined institutions like banks and credit lenders, sir. And in informal sources of credit, we have informal lenders like landlords in villages and landlords and landowners, sir.
Okay. Can you place any one example of informal sources of credit as you have placed money lender? For formal also you can place any answer?
Yes, sir. Banks, sir.
Okay, good. Can I ask you one more question?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You have heard about the different finances company, right?
Yes, sir.
We are giving loan and we are getting the amount whatever we require or the loan. 2 elephants are joined there. Which finance company is there?
Who's that?
Which finance company is that?
Sir,
2 elephants are joined.
it is a bank, sir.
Sir, may I answer, sir?
Yes, beta.
Sir, Mudot Finance, sir.
Very correct answer. Who is this?
Sidra Yalagali.
Okay, very good, very impressive answer. You are absolutely true. Next,
Yes, sir.
please read out the second question, Sidraya.
Why should credit at reasonable rates be available for all?
Okay, the second question is speaking, why should credit at a reasonable rate be available for each and everyone? So that the people should not suffer, the people should not move in the informal sectors and to have the loan and suffered with the debit trap. Question number third. Tanmay, please read out the question number second. Once again. Tanmay, please unmute yourself and read out. Next, question number third. Should there be a supervisor such as the RBI that looks into the activities of informal lenders? Why would its
Yes, sir. There should be a supervisor, sir, for checking loan activities in formal lenders.
okay, good. But why it is going to be very difficult task?
Sir, because informal sector constitutes many people, sir, who is having different kind of business on their own.
Okay,
Some are not registered by the government, sir, for loan.
okay. Next, question number fourth. Please read out, Mayur.
Yes, sir. Why do you think that share of formal sector credit is higher for the richer households compared to the poorer households?
Can you answer it?
Sir,
Okay, next.
sir, still.
These are the four questions. You please think upon the answer. Please write down in your notebook. You can send it from the WhatsApp to me. At the last, I want to tell to each and everyone, please prepare the note making for all the chapters, right? So it's going to be crystal clear to you. Lastly, thanking to each and everyone. Be present in each and every class like this. If you are having any doubt and
Okay, sir.
difficulty, please ask to me. Karthik Kamati, please ask any question if you want. Karthik Kamati,
Yes, sir.
yes beta. Any doubt is there, please ask to me.
Yes, no doubt, sir.
Okay. Any other? Ashwat?
Sir, fourth question, sir. Why do you think that share of formal sector credit is higher for the richer households compared to the poor households?
Okay. Who is
The
this?
richer households,
Mayur. Your voice is breaking, beta. Okay. After 5 minutes, I am going to have a live class from the Google Meet so I can see you live to live, right? Just to have your attendance. Everyone has to present there. Now you can leave.